15 seconds. Charles Barkley.
Johnson around his man, drives and
Scores over Lamar Jackson. Stoudemire scores. Rejected. What a defensive effort that time. And Crowder looking for the alley-oop.
Kevin Durant breaking out here. Over the long one, won't get it. Long rebound. Finds Booker. This is
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, all the Planeteers. We are here. It is playoff season, and the Suns are in the playoffs, ready to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in just a short bit. But we've got some housekeeping to do. We've got awards for the end of the season. We've got to preview this playoff series. So we've got a lot to do. But first, you all know me, Jake Fallen, a.k.a. Fallen Founder on Twitter. And but we've got a special guest, and I'm going to turn it right over to him, the geekiest of the Suns fans. Brandon, thanks for coming on, man.
Of course, man. Appreciate the invite. Glad to be here with all of you guys, ready to talk some awards and do a quick little preview of the Suns-Wolves game. And just, I feel like the timing's good, you know, like the game's about, it'll be like an hour or so after this podcast. So I'm ready to go, man. I'm all fired up, and thank you guys for having me. And thank you guys for co-streaming too, because it helps out my channel as well. So I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. And of course, we've got coming out of the Philippines, the thriller from Manila, Kevin Salute. Kevin?
Well, yeah, we are so excited today because of this award show and as well as the game. So let's get started. We don't want to be late for tip-off. That's certainly obvious.
Yeah.
So let's get on. Let's get it on, right? Hello.
And Hamo the Thunder from down under. It's 4 a.m., but he still has his jacket on. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Hamo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very excited to be here. Very excited to have Geek on. Yeah, let's do it. Why wait?
All right. And true story, I have a dress shirt and a jacket on because I actually came from a funeral. That is a true story where we actually just buried the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I had to throw that joke out early because I don't know, funerals make me weird. So we've got some important things to celebrate, and I know my buddy who's up there now is looking down. He's a Suns fan as well, and he loved this podcasting idea. So blessings to him. So let's just dive in and talk a little bit. We didn't cover the last game because it was Sunday, right? So last Sunday for us, so we weren't able to cover it. But I don't know if you guys heard, we beat the Timberwolves already. So we'll be facing them again here soon. But for the playoff spot. But let's just briefly talk about that game. We ended up clowning them 125-106. Any takeaways? I know we're not going to spend a ton of time on this because the real work is about to begin. But is anyone surprised? I read something that the T-Wolves purposely played a vanilla style because they assumed we'd be taking them on. Are you buying that, Geek?
I did see that, and a part of me kind of not necessarily believes it, but like I get why. It wasn't that like the assistant coach or whatever who said that. Like you don't want to show all of your cards and everything, but it's like I'm a big believer. I know like basketball isn't all about the numbers, even though it kind of is. Stats don't lie, numbers don't lie, and all that. But like we beat them pretty handily, throughout the regular season. I think that is going to matter. I'm not saying we're going to sweep them at all. I think it's going to be a tough game one. I think it'll be a tough series. But I will say this, that game on Sunday, because I don't know how much content you guys have seen of mine, but my Suns Geek fans know. They know I was so down on this team, man. But Sunday, something just like clicked and my spirits were lifted. I was just so excited with how we handled them. And that was the kind of win that we needed, like the momentum. It's a real thing. That was the momentum, the spirit lifting win that we needed. And it wasn't even like one of our, I mean, I take that back, actually. It was one of our best wins of the season, but it wasn't necessarily the best win of the season. But I'm glad that we won it. That's all that mattered. We needed that big win going into the playoffs, man. And even if they didn't show us all of their cards, I am still confident that we can beat them. Let's take it one game at a time, man. If we can just play like 75% of the way that we did on Sunday today, I am confident that we can take game one, man. Not really sure if that answers your question, but I'll just say my spirits were lifted after a pretty devastating week for the Suns, man. Last or a couple weeks ago, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Hamo, Kev, did you guys take anything away from that game, or was it just us finishing strong? Remember, the last 10 games were the hardest in the season for any team. The final 10 games, Suns ended up going 7-3, finishing with that strong win over the Wolves.
Go for it, Kev.
Yeah, it's an impressive run. Actually, despite losing to the Clippers and the Wemby less San Antonio Spurs, but it was a strong close to the season, I would say. And going back to that game, I definitely agree with you, Brandon, that it's not the. I think it was the most complete game that we've seen for them from start to finish. There were no meltdowns at all, and you can see the potential that the Suns have going into these playoffs. And to go back to the assistant coach's statement, I see that as well. That you don't want to give it like too much to your first round opponent, but they've played like 82 games, and Suns do their job, watching film. So I don't think that we're gonna see something different. Although it helps that just to focus for like one opponent, right? But I'm not buying that there's something else that they can do. Maybe some adjustments here and there, but not a totally different thing that they haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfect way to end off the season, man. The boys needed it. The boys needed that win. They needed that confidence booster going into these playoffs, and to do it against was it 3 times we played them in the regular season? Now we swept them the whole thing. So gives us that extra level of confidence knowing they are our first round team. So yeah, great way to finish it off, man. The boys must feel amazing.
And the points that we beat them by. I mean, like, even though that final game was only 10 points, it was like a 20-point win. And then, the previous games, remember that one game when we held them to a season low 87 points? That was insane, man. So that's why I'm like, I understand why the coach said that. And there's a possibility that like Ant takes it up to a different level and their defense is a lot better, even though statistically they're the best defensive team in the league. But it's like, I'm pretty confident in how we handled them in the regular season that we can hopefully just dominate them this series.
Mm-hmm. No, I think, and we'll preview it a little bit more, but I did want to take a look at a couple of little news items before we move into the Boom Room, which will be the host of the inaugural Suns Planet Award show. But first, we've got a couple important things to point out. Kevin Young is not long with the Phoenix Suns. He got a huge deal. I think, what was it, top 5, top 10 college coach salary for the college ranks. He'll be going to Brigham Young University. And so we will miss Kevin Young. We know he was pretty instrumental and pretty close with Book. And, the frustrations with the fourth quarter offense are not all being laid at his feet this year, but I know he's been with the franchise for a while. Congratulations to Kevin getting to go back to BYU and actually coach that team. And then an additional player did make a lot of money, and I'm going to see, do we have his drop already prepped?
I hope so, man.
We do.
I love that drop. Oh, yeah.
I mean, can you be scary? Oh, I know you're asking me. Can it be scary? What do you think of this?
I'm Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen putting the fear into the league this year with his 3-point shooting, solid defense. I'll be honest, he's certainly a player that very much impressed me this year. I think a lot of us thought he was kind of a throw-in in the trade and maybe just going to be a solid role player. Instead, he has been a very valuable starter with this team. And he got what was a very nice contract. I think it was $17.5 million roughly a year over 4 years, and each year for 4 years. And that's going to be, I don't want to think about it down the line, but it's fantastic because it's a very tradable contract. It's a sizable contract. There's a lot of value there. He brings a lot of value to this team. So congratulations on Grayson for getting paid walking. He loves Phoenix from all accounts. He loves the franchise, and we've been loving him back. And he's going to get paid, and and that also is going to help us.
He's going to stay. That's the most important part of it all. He's staying a Sun.
Exactly, and we don't have to fight for him on the the open market. Kind of like some people were talking about during the trade deadline going after a Miles Bridges. It was always going to be nearly impossible to retain him if he was going to come for a short rental period. So, congratulations to Grayson. But do you guys want to get going on the awards?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, well let's
do it.
Let me welcome you guys into the club. You guys come through this line. You're VIPs.
What's the name of that nightclub of yours again?
You talking about the Boom Boom Room?
Yeah, the Boom Boom Room. That's it. Funky. Yeah. Funky. Yeah. Funky. Yeah. Funky. Yeah.
Woo! Welcome into the Suns Boom Boom Room, ladies and gentlemen. We got a large crowd in here tonight. It's a good-looking group in here, and
bigger and bigger.
And we've got some awards to give out, guys. We took to Twitter, we took to X, and we ran some fan polls. And I had a vote, Kevin had a vote, Hamo had a vote, the Geek had a vote, and our producer Josh, who be sure to slap that thumbs up button on this video if you guys like these graphics, if you like these videos, if you like this audio. That's our guy Josh in the background putting that stuff together. And so he had a vote as well. So we thought, okay, let's do it a little bit kind of like the All-Stars, how they do it with a fan vote. But we wanted to give a little bit more because I always think that's a little bit watered down. So we gave you guys 2 votes. So it is whoever got the most of the 7 votes. And we can talk with the first award as soon as I can pull it up, which is the Best Non-Player Award intro. Here we go. And excuse me, actually, where are my manners? I didn't even welcome you all to the show for the awards. Let me go back here a moment. 1 sec. Okay, that was too sick not to go back and play that.
Josh,
our man Josh,
you are
amazing.
You are amazing.
We have to wear jackets. We have to wear, at least collared shirts. We have to look professional because this is the Suns Planet Award show. So we've got some stuff going on here. But as you notice in the Best Non-Player Award intro, we have the nominees James Jones, assistant coach Kevin Young, coach Frank Vogel, and, of course, the owner, Matt Ishbia. And the winner is Matt Ishbia.
I'll also be accepting the awards on behalf of every winner today. So,
yes, that's exactly what we need. Just somebody to wave a little trophy around. But guys, Matt Ishbia, how much has he changed this culture? Geek, we were used to the Sarver days. What has Ishbia brought?
Well, first off, so sorry for my technical difficulties. I don't know what happened there. My whole computer just crashed. But anyways, we're here. We're good. And you guys can still hear me on the good mic, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anyways, to answer your question though, oh my goodness, yeah. I understand if some people voted for like Frank Vogel and all them, but it is Matt Ishbia, hands down, clean sweep. That it's not even close. I always like to remind fans that it's not just the on the court stuff that Matt Ishbia has been doing and that he'll continue to do. It's the off the court stuff. I mean, I know a couple people who work for Footprint Center and they've met Matt Ishbia. And they've met Josh Bartelstein and all them, like just what he's doing from we all have jobs, right? Like from an employee standpoint, what he's doing to these employees and just changing things and getting to know the company and the building and all that stuff. It is just incredible. Everything he's doing for the Phoenix Mercury as well. And, like if you look at through like an economic kind of point of view, like opening up more jobs and opportunities for people, it is just spectacular, man. And again, I guess going back to the on the court stuff too, just how he has turned around this team. I know that a lot of fans were a little intimidated in the beginning, especially with trading away the Twins and DeAndre Ayton and everything, but he's trying to win us a championship. Our owner, who is not Robert Sarver, is trying to win us a championship. Thank God. And I am all for it. I am a Matt Ishbia standboy. And until he gives me reason not to be, I will continue to be. Matt Ishbia is incredible, and he deserves this award.
Absolutely. Well, and we've had, not just with Sarver, but we've had some other interesting Arizona sports studies, and shout out to ASAP Sports for keeping us in the loop on that. All Sports, All Plays is the network that we're a part of. But we've had some interesting, might be the understatement. But I say interesting because I don't want to get into the negativity, not on this show, not during awards season, not before our big playoffs. But Matt Ishbia has been a breath of fresh air, I think, for this franchise. Kev, Hamo, any additional thoughts on Ishbia winning the first non-player award?
Yeah, basically, I agree with everything that Brandon said. Actually, not from an employee perspective. That's what you want to see with from your owner, like being supportive and everything, and not having that toxic environment that Sarver had with his regime. But yeah, it's really a breath of fresh air, and an owner with deep pockets definitely helps winning. So that's just for me.
Hamo.
You said you don't want to talk too much about the Sarver and that, but we're talking about the person who's taken over. So we sort of have to talk about Sarver a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I meant more the recent local.
Yeah, definitely. Just flashing back to when we had Pat Burke on a few episodes back, and he was talking about you'd walk straight past Sarver, you'd walk straight past Ryan McDonough. They wouldn't even acknowledge that you were in the room. What a turnaround it is to have Matt Ishbia in here doing Matt Ishbia things, big dick moves. He doesn't care about luxury tax. He doesn't care about giving the games away for I can't remember the name of it because I'm not from Arizona, but the free games and so forth on the television.
Oh,
he's incredible.
Yeah,
the cable network or whatever it's called. Yeah. It's incredible what he's doing, man. And I wish he could win the award twice. I really do.
Well, he's bringing the All-Star game back to Phoenix. I think there's a lot to be proud of. It's always funny growing up in Iowa and still living here now. But having bounced around, it was always interesting to me as a Phoenix Suns fan to always hear about Phoenix being referred to as a small market team when Phoenix is top 10 metro area in the country. So it always kind of seems strange to me. And I think Ishbia is leaning into hey, it should be a larger market. There should be a lot of appeal in Phoenix. And so bringing the All-Star game back so soon is a stellar move. Well, we do have a total of 6 awards. Maybe we'll do a 7th next year, but we did not have a rookie on the team. So no Rookie of the Year award, ladies and gentlemen. But we did have, and I know Geek knows a little bit about this, but what has kind of been a Suns Planet badge of honor of late has been our connection to Suns fans from around this planet. We've done, episodes with fans from the UK, Spain, France, obviously the Philippines and Australia. We connected with, folks out in Singapore and Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay,
Argentina,
planet. And we're going to look forward to keep doing that. In fact, we've already got some connections to the Suns Italy account and a German Suns fan as well that we hope to be able to team up with. So we decided to create a kind of an ode to them with the International Player of the Year award. And this team, we've got some options. All right, Josh Okogie, Nigeria, Eric Gordon representing the Bahamas, Yusuf Nurkic representing Bosnia and Herzegovina, and of course, I'm already blanking on his name because we just saw him. Who did I just miss there? Bol of Sudan,
baby.
So it's so nice they named him twice. That's Bol for you. So go ahead. Again, we asked all the fans to vote on Twitter, and we threw our own votes into the pile. Let's go ahead and take a look at who is the International Player of the Year for this Suns team. All right, and Hamill representing Yusuf Nurkic, who could not be here today, ladies and gentlemen.
like me.
He's got to
You
get ready for a game
really
in
like
Minnesota. But Yusuf Nurkic was the only swept category, completely swept. There were some people, in the fans' vote that were picking some other people, but in the end, the fan vote decided Nurkic, as did every one of us. Guys, the Nurkic trade. There's still some people out there, I'll acknowledge them, that thinks that Ayton might have been better. And honestly, I still say Ayton maybe someday could be better. But Nurkic has been what this team has needed. He fit the system, and the big boy knows how to rebound, and he knows how to guard the post. What else can we say about Yusuf Nurkic, Hamo? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the big man?
We had so many reservations about this cat when we signed him, didn't we? Is he going to stay healthy? How many games is he going to miss? And the games he misses, we lose. He's a major part of our identity at the moment. Suns lacking with identity, yeah, okay, but he's a key part of our core, and clearly ahead. What was the stat you put up that Nurk actually liked on Twitter? What was that? That was
that he was actually the fourth best in defensive rating.
God, that's hard to say for him.
I shared that tweet for y'all.
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you.
And Nurk liked that, pointing that out, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't think that maybe we'll say Nurk is maybe above average, but they don't view him as an elite guy. Maybe he's not elite, but I don't know.
Can you grab that comment up from Voida, please? Can you put that on the screen?
Oh, absolutely. 76 games for the often injured Yusuf Nurkic.
Often injured. We don't know what we're going to get out of him. Yeah. Geez, I wish we could eat our own hat sometimes, man. We deserve it on that one.
Absolutely. Guys, anything else to add about the big man?
Yeah, I mean, I do think the games played is a little overlooked. I tend to forget about that as well, but I love how Hamo said it. Like, when he doesn't play, we lose. You know what I mean? And even if somehow we won, it kind of seemed like the game was a little close. But a big thing for me here, and this kind of goes back to like the Matt Ishbia thing and even the Grayson Allen talk that we had earlier, I really do believe that Nurkic wants to be here, and he loves Phoenix, and just he's such a good teammate, especially on social media. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know it sounds silly of me to say, but it's true. Like, I understand why Book and Katie don't really tweet that much, besides when Kevin Durant's arguing with people on Twitter. But like, I kind of wish Book and all them would do that a little bit more, like tweet out like fun stuff and all that, and just I'm sure that Nurkic is a great teammate in the locker room, and I'm pulling up his stats right here. I think it's 10 points per game, 11 boards per game, and 4 assists with a 1.7 turnover ratio. And that is huge, man. He seems to be like our
compared to DA.
Yeah, like Monty Williams used this quote a lot. Like he's like our connector, if you will. And I really do believe that. And again, it seems like we lose games when he's not in. I love Nurkic. He's a beast out there. And I hope he has a great playoff run as well.
He is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and certainly is a better connector than I think the first time I ever was hearing that. Oh, we like him. He's a connector. It was with regards to Dario Saric, which miss Dario, but I think Nurk is doing a little bit better job.
Dario.
Yeah. Kev, any thoughts on the big man?
Kev.
Oh wait, sorry, didn't hear that. But yeah, basically everything you said was right on, and I think the impact of Nurk is really high on this team. I don't think we're going to win as much as we have won. And just imagine going to that like point, right? How many games would you think that the Suns would win if Ayton is at the center? So we don't know this. We don't know really. But Nurk has been really a perfect fit, and I agree he's like the perfect teammate. I remember every game was like, was he the one who tweeted out like liberal? That's referring to book. Right after that game, yeah. And every time I see like from time to time I see tweets like the Valley, and then there's like an emoji and all that stuff. So he's really showing that he wants to be here, and that's really important. Yeah, 76 games played. He's pretty healthy, guys. So give that credit to him. And there were a lot of questions about his health when we got him, and some people were like saying, "What a bad trade," right? But he's been just perfect connector for these guys. And I love it when the offense goes through him, right? And he makes these difficult backdoor passes to everyone. So such a great connector. And I love how he can beat down. There are like instances where he out-rebounded Gobert in the series, in the regular series against the Wolves. He out-rebounded Gobert like with a differential of 4. So he's +4 on the boards in total on those 3 games. And we saw that as well in the games against the Pelicans where he kind of like took Valanciunas away from from the painted area. So he's really a very good player for me.
Nurk's funny too, man. I was watching a post-game show like a couple weeks ago with Tom and Tom, and he said something like from MRI to playing time or something like that. And Tom Landers like, you got to get that like on a t-shirt or a hat or something. He just seems like a funny guy, man. I love Nurkic.
And to be able to play through Ramadan as well, I think is and I know he's not the only one out there in the league doing it, but it's the only one that we're focusing on.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard, especially when you're that big of a body, man. That has got to be tough. So it's like, if I'm correct, it's like you can't consume anything but water from sun up to sundown kind of thing.
Jeez.
Something like that. So that's incredible, man. That is
not
incredible.
Just the big body.
And if I'm wrong on that, I'm very sorry, but I didn't do my research. I just going from memory.
And like you're running up and down the court and you're getting physical with dudes. Like I would faint. Like I couldn't do that stuff.
Rooted, as we would call it.
Yeah, right.
Well, I do want to recognize we have a new record for the Suns Planet with 122 active viewers. So if you haven't already, what do they need to do, Geek? They need to smash something?
Hulk, smash the like button, subscribe, and like I always say, just keep on watching.
Absolutely.
Well, cares about.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to drop all of our beats because we do have a bit of a show to get through, and we want to get you guys ready for tip-off. But this was a special request from Mr. Sir Hamo.
Here goes a flush, savage slam dunk. Rebound with the sound of this welcome funk. Bossy and beast.
And we're always really just here to watch Hamo finish that dance move.
That's my week, man. My week is complete now. Thank you.
Well, the Bosnian Beast did a fantastic job. International Player of the Year. But we do have, the Suns team. We knew when the big three showed up, it was going to be, okay, who's going to be playing with them? And I think when the year first started, we were very excited about this bench. And then at the trade deadline, most of the bench was sent out.
See you later.
But we do have some interesting players still to talk about. So let's take a look at the Bench Player of the Year. All right. Eric Gordon, Royce O'Neal, Bol, and Drew Eubanks to fill out the 4 nominees for Bench Player of the Year. This was an interesting one. The fan vote came through and actually tipped the balance in one person's favor. And we will go ahead and show you the winner. And Royce O'Neal is the winner of the Bench Player of the Year. If you saw the graphic, we left the E off his last name because the Timberwolves are going to be running on E, running on empty at the end of this series after we finish them off. And that is how you transition and make up for that missing E. But Royce O'Neal, guys, came in at the trade deadline. He was our big pickup, our big addition that we added at the trade deadline. Geek, has he been that big of a difference?
Oh yeah, especially to start. Like I remember the first 5, 6, maybe even 7 games. I was like, dude, this guy is like the plus minus god, and I am not that big of a plus minus person. That's just me personally. And he did have a difficult stretch there, kind of like mid, after those 7 to 10 games or whatever. Kind of struggled a bit. Sort of was in a shooting funk. I think he even talked about that shooting funk and everything, but it still seemed like he was just so active and trying to be aggressive and trying to help us get as many wins as possible. And sometimes his games go a little overlooked. Like even if he puts up like 5, 3, and 2, you know what I mean? Like I know those aren't like stat padding numbers and that's going to stand out on the box score, but he really does contribute out there. We all know what he can do on defense and everything. Veteran in this league, I believe he's like 30 years old or something like that. And I'm really happy he's on this team. And, we've been talking about like Grayson Allen loves to be here. Yusuf Nurkic loves to be here. I think that gets a little overlooked too, that he wants to be here as well. Mm-hmm. And why not? I mean, you're playing with 3 of the best players in the NBA. You got a great owner and Matt Ishbia and everything. It's like he's probably psyched to be here. Yeah, great fans and everything. Like he is probably psyched. So shout out to Royce O'Neal, man. He's been great.
Yeah, his numbers did tick up when he came to the Suns from when he was during his time in Brooklyn. But let's see, Kev, I'm seeing some people talking about Bol. Any other answer is wrong. As I mentioned, the fan vote actually chose Royce and tipped the balance. Had the fan vote not come through, it would have been Bol. Should Bol have won this one, Kev?
Well, to be honest, my vote was Bol until fan voting came along. Yeah, for Bol, it's not really just how or what's his averages was, but it's just the impact sometimes. When he like shoots 3 or makes a 3-pointer, everyone goes crazy or in the crowd. So those are like the audience impact, as we say, for Bol, pretty much. But Royce O'Neal is definitely like a contender for this award. He played 30 games anyway, averaging 8.1 points for the Suns, and that 3-point shooting is 37.6. It definitely helps us in the playoffs. You can, depending on the matchups, you can switch, O'Neal to Allen in the starting lineup. He is really a big contributor as well in terms of his defense.
Mm-hmm. And Hamo, nobody chose Drew Eubanks. Should Drew have gotten any love?
No, I don't believe he should have. I'm with Kev as well, man. I thought for sure Bol, what he makes an immediate impact whenever he comes on the court. He really does. I don't know what our obsession is getting old teammates of Kevin Durant from Brooklyn. You know, Utah, Royce. I think there was another one, but I could be wrong. But yeah, no, well done, Royce. I'm keeping this award though. You're not getting this one. I'm going to give it to Bowl in person.
False. It goes to Royce O'Neal. And for the next award,
Stop me.
For the next award, we have the Defensive Player of the Year award. Believe it or not, this team did play defense and actually quite well, especially towards the second half of the season. So let's take a look at the Defensive Player of the Year nominees. All right, Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic, and I already just Royce. Did I say Royce? Royce, Grayson, Nurkic, and Durant were the 4 nominees for the audio-only listeners. I want to make sure I get that down for you. This was another one where the fan voting came through and kind of pushed it in one direction over another. And let's take a look at who the winner is. Kevin Durant, Defensive Player of the Year. Geek, Kevin Durant doesn't play defense. What is this?
It's funny you say that, actually, because I had, I guess, recency bias from last season. And I remember being on the Suns Jam Session podcast, and John and I were talking about it, how I was like, oh, Josh Okogie's our best defender. But I was kind of stupid saying that because I forgot that Kevin Durant can still be that guy on defense. And I don't think this is a bad thing, but I think it gets overlooked. You know what I mean? Like, he really does, you know, the size and length and everything really does play a factor out there each and every single game. And, you know, Kevin Durant's our best defender. That's not a bad thing. And if his defense can carry over to the playoffs, man, we're going to be a tough team to beat. But yeah, Kevin Durant, definitely our best defender. I'm glad he won the award.
Well, and Hamo, we knew this was going to happen to a degree, right? I mean, Devin Booker is one heck of a scorer. Bradley Beal, one heck of a scorer. Kevin Durant, one heck of a scorer. And throughout the season, we've seen different versions of adapting of their own personal games. Booker increasing his assists. Beal showing that he can go out and get a lot of rebounds. He can guard Zion Williamson. And Kevin Durant can be a big shot blocker and a good defensive player. Hamo, what did you notice?
Kevin Durant is my favorite player of all time. He has been ever since the Thunder days. I think Voida said it the other day, watching him, Voida from Suns Jam Session, guys, check it out. Post-game shows are amazing. He said watching Kevin Durant, watching Devin Booker pre-warm-up kind of thing, shooting around is nice. He said, but watching KD is art. And he can do it on both ends of the court, man. He's an incredible player. He's an incredible defender. And he's going to go down as top 5 of all time, in my opinion. So, yeah, I was so happy when he came. I shared a story with Geek a few years back. I was in absolute paradise, man. I was in a place called Hamilton Island, believe that. It's beautiful surf, beautiful rainforest, all of this. And then it hits me phone. And I was more devastated about losing Mikal Bridges at the time. But I am so happy that Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun, and I hope he stays for a long time and very much deserving of the award.
Yeah, I think, personally for me, I know Kevin Durant, when he showed up, I thought fantastic. And then I watched the playoff series, especially against the Denver Nuggets, and I thought, are we getting downhill, past his prime, Kevin Durant? This season, this regular season appears to have not been. He was the healthiest of the big 3 throughout the season. Kevin Durant, Kevin and Kevin, what do you got to say about your namesake? Were you named after Kevin Durant? Just be honest.
No, come on. But yeah, 75 games played, and I think that's the most that he's played over the last couple of years. So he's really been healthy, the healthiest among the big 3. Averaging for blocks, it's 1.2 blocks per game, and almost a steal per game. So defensive rating of 114, and I expect that to even get better or go down to be even to get better, that defensive rating. And just the spurts of when Vogel goes to a small lineup, I think it was pretty evident when we had that comeback against was that the Bulls or no, but it was a game that the Suns came back when he played the five. Um, uh, we really was able to see how he defended that big guy over there. I can't remember who that team was. Um, so yeah, the impact that he brings actually in the defensive side is very big, and we need that, over the course of these playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, we do have two more awards to get through, but like any award show, there is a momentary break, and we take a moment of silence for a special Phoenix Sun that we lost this year. We lost the Greyhound, a.k.a. Sweet D, a.k.a. the man with the velvet touch, a.k.a. the Candyman, as Al McCoy would call him. Walter Davis, the Suns' all-time leading scorer with 15,666 points. We lost him in November of this season, and so our well wishes, prayers, and our thoughts are with the Walter Davis family. And it's always good, especially for myself. And I know for a lot of you all, you may have became a Suns fan in the Charles Barkley era. You may have became a Suns fan in the Nash era, or even the Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant eras now. But it's always important to remember some of the greats, and Walter Davis was certainly that for this team. And let's talk about our
well
second.
said, Jake.
Thank you. Our second to last award, or actually, you guys. Does anyone have a Walter Davis story? Anyone want to mention something about the Greyhound? Go ahead, Geek.
Please, Geek.
So I have like a 4-second video of this for proof. But they were doing like remember when we had our 50th season and everything? They would do like the meet and greets with the legends, and he was there one game, and I got to go to that game. He was there, so I forgot who he was sitting by. It was like a table of 3 of them and everything. And first off, he was a very nice guy. I told him, I was like, you are an absolute Suns legend. And I meant that. I meant every word. He, right next to Book, and I guess now we can say KD, he is arguably the Suns' greatest scorer ever. And again, I know might sound like a hot take because of Devin Booker and everything, but seriously, whether you're an old fan, new fan, or a young fan, seriously, go do your research. Look up Walter Davis, man. Like, if he played in today's league, woo. And I know you could say that about like a lot of players from the past and everything, but Walter Davis would be cooking players left and right. But again, I got a chance to meet him. I shook his hand. I think he signed one of my cards too, I believe. But just the fact that my friend got that quick little video of me meeting him was an incredible experience. I know Tom Leander is a big Walter Davis fan. I guess Walter Davis gave him like a pair of signed shoes and everything. Just an absolute Suns legend. And it was just heartbreaking for the NBA and the Suns when we lost him. So it was incredible, man, meeting him.
Yeah, for the young guns that might not know, Walter, hop on the NBA 2K, the All Suns team. Find Walter Davis. He's got speed. He was physical. He would definitely make it in today's NBA. He was not a 1990s ground and pound guy. This guy could move. That's why they called him the Greyhound.
Yeah, we didn't get to see any of that in Australia, man. Didn't get to see any of it. So it's purely YouTube and things like that you could find it on. But what's it? I'm going to say this wrong. Geek might be able to help me here because I think it's one of his fans. Zenith Phoenix. If you're a fan during the Pat Burke era, go back, check out our episode with Pat Burke from a few weeks back.
Yep.
It
was awesome.
We had Pat Burke come on to the Suns planet, tip a Guinness, and talk to us a little bit about Ireland and his time with the team. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, there you go. Huntstar, a.k.a. Josh, our producer in the background, always wears the Walter Davis jersey. Absolutely.
Let's go.
Get it.
But let's talk about the Most Improved Player Award. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Let's take a look at the nominees. We've had some guys that surprised us this year. All right. Some of the biggest statistical jumps came from Grayson Allen, Bol, Yusuf Nurkic, and Devin Booker. Those are your nominees for this season's Most Improved Player of the Year award. And this was another interesting one. So let's go ahead and jump into who the winner was. Interesting, as I mentioned, and because it's a callback to the beginning of the show when I thought Grayson Allen was going to be a throw-in. I thought he was there to make the salaries match. He'd be maybe a 7th, 8th, 9th type rotational player, role player coming off the bench. Instead, a starter. If he's not still leading the league, he was leading the league in three-point percentage. He takes a good amount of them. His defense has been strong. Grayson Allen, guys, we've talked about him a bunch on the show. Geek, I know you talked about him before too. So what else do we need to say except that Grayson Allen has so much impressed his Suns fan base?
Yeah, I'm just at a loss for words at this point with Grayson Allen, and I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's true. Like, I remember when we got him, like, I wasn't necessarily like mad, like, oh man, we got Grayson Allen, this sucks, but like I wasn't jumping up and down for joy either.
You're waiting for that dirty play.
Yeah, like maybe that's where social media and narrative kind of took over me. But I do remember this. I remember, I think I was live during free agency and everything, and I do remember saying this, and I still believe it. I don't really have like any like sources or proof on this, but I feel like Grayson Allen is one of those players who kind of gets under the skin of like your Bradley Beals and your Devin Bookers and everything in practice. But that's kind of goes with what I want to say next too. And I really do think this is true. Grayson Allen has been such an incredible leader on and off the court, especially off the court. You know, just his maturity. We haven't seen too many of those dirty plays. I don't think we're going to this season, or should I say playoffs. And just such a great leader on and off the court. And then obviously a career year. The numbers are up and down. I can let Sir Hamo and Kevin talk about all that, but career year, deserved the contract that he got. So happy that he's going to be in Phoenix and stay in Phoenix. And then also, like we talked about earlier, just happy that he wants to be in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I love Grayson Allen, man.
Oh, man, you take the words right out of my mouth most of the times, Geek. We vibe on the very similar level. We spoke about this before. But as, once again, Suns Jam Session, shout out, as they call him, the fuck shit up guy. And it was not what we were expecting, was it? Sorry, Geek, I didn't mean to swear on your channel.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
It wasn't what we were expecting out of him. You know what I mean? Like we were expecting the dirty guy. We're expecting this. We weren't expecting this absolute assassin. What? Like it come out of nowhere, dude. It's so mind blowing. Like he's turned into one of the most pivotal pieces for the Suns this season. That his 3-point percentage, his clutch, his defense. My God, man. Like, we all deserve a kick in the ass for doubting that he was going to be. Well, we didn't know. We just, unless you're an absolute student of the game, you don't watch every single team's every single game because you'd be bloody bonkers.
Yep.
But we listen to the narrative, like you said, Geek. We listen to the media narrative, and we got everything opposite of what we're expecting, and I love it.
But I think
absolutely
that's
love it.
Though. That's a good.
Oh
thing
yeah,
all wrong.
100%, bro. 100%. No, we got a sensational all-round player, well deserved.
Kevin.
Yeah, and sorry, Jake, but yeah. I agree with everything that you guys have said, and I actually wrote about this in my article with ASAP Arizona. That in in this trade, that's how we got him. In the trade that saw Lillard going to the Bucks to pair up with Giannis, and the Suns parting ways with their only #1 pick in franchise history. Grayson Allen had become one of the most, one of the X factors on that trade. And overall, his career, he shot like 38.2 in from deep, and then with the 2 seasons with the Bucks, he's like averaging 40% in 3-point shooting. So from 40% shooter to 45, I believe 45, over just over 45.
ish, yeah.
Yeah, percent in 3-point shooting. I mean, who else are you gonna give that award to? You know, and I've broken down some of the statistics that we for Grayson Allen since win-loss record without Allen is we're 4-3, and the win-loss of Suns when he shoots below 35% from three, we're 12-14. So you can see the impact really of the shooting of Grayson Allen. And when you have a big three like that, it's important to have shooters. You know, that's that is the major plus. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, now,
Gotta love. I
repeat that
love
stat
having
real
a
quick.
stat man around.
Yeah, Kev, repeat that stat real quick. What's the Suns' record when he shoots below 35%?
12-14.
Yeah,
12 wins and 14 losses.
I mean, yeah, he's and when you're seeing a guy knock down almost half of his 3-point shots, that's not just elite. That's the next stratosphere. Is stratosphere a sphere? It's there's there multiple sphere. I forget. It's been a while since I went to planet school, but there's layers, right? He's in that next layer,
Planet school.
Mesosphere, something like that. So he's in that. He can't breathe. There's no oxygen up there. That's how great he is. He's way up there. Grayson Allen, fantastic choice. And we have one more winner, one more award to give out. So I'm going to crack my last beer, and we talk about him. Then we'll get into the T-Wolves series and try and wrap it up somewhat quickly. But let's talk about, what it would be, the MVP, the best player on this team this year. I'm going to say honorable mention to Yusuf Nurkic by simply with his absence, this team is not very good. So you could almost make the argument that he's a critical component and to almost be the MVP. But this year's nominees,
he's MCP, most critical player.
There you go. It could be that. Grayson Allen, the elite 3-point shooting, as we talked about. Devin Booker, the heart and soul of the Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal, the new addition. And, of course, Kevin Durant, our defensive player of the year. And so let's take a look at who the award goes to. And I'm gonna say BS. I'm gonna say BS. Kevin Durant. I'll be honest, I was shocked that the fans went away, and some of you guys as well, because Booker came up short on this one. It goes to Kevin Durant, the MVP. You guys tell me. You guys break it down for me. We'll start back with Kev this time, and you tell me why Kevin Durant is so deserving to be the MVP of this Phoenix Suns season.
Oh man, well, for various reasons, obviously, but to me, he was the healthiest among the big three. And at the start of the season, when we were missing guys, Book and Beal, he really just carried the workload of those three. And again, it's his healthiest season over the last 2-3 years. And for a 35, 36-year-old, you can't ask better than that.
Okay. Geek, what do you think?
Is the biggest.
Well, I actually had to go back and check who I voted for because I was like, did I vote for Devin Booker? I do understand the voting, though. I'm not mad at this pick at all. And I think this kind of goes back to our talk about the defense of Kevin Durant. Not saying that Devin Booker isn't a good defender, not saying Devin Booker isn't an improved defender because he is. But again, Kevin Durant is still that guy on defense. And breaking news here, Kevin Durant is still that guy in general. Like we all talked about, like you could argue that he is top 5. I've studied the history of the league. He's top 10. You know what I mean? Seriously, like we're talking so many legends. He is top 10. Kevin Durant is still that guy. I am not angry with this pick right here. And again, I understand if people might have voted for Yusuf Nurkic. I like how we said like he's our crucial, valuable player, if that was the word you guys used. You know, Devin Booker deserves votes. Grayson Allen deserves votes, et cetera, et cetera. But it's Kevin Durant. I understand it, but I did vote for Devin Booker, though.
Well, and even Bradley Beal, I was curious if he was going to be making a run, especially with kind of a recency bias, because it seems like a lot of people have been saying Bradley Beal saved the season.
He had
I
a
watched
great
a video
month
on PHNX, and they said that was a turning point, and it's usually a Bradley Beal game is the turning point. But Hamo, is it just Kevin Durant stands like yourself that said, "Oh, I get a chance to vote for Kevin, that's why he should win"?
No, there's multiple layers to it, dude. He's had to completely reinvent his game. He's not the primary scorer. He's not the primary on anything, really. Like, he can be, but it's not like when he was at OKC, you know, he's absolutely just running everyone crazy. Yeah, thanks, Chris Stew. I'm terrible at pronunciation. Sorry, bro. He's had to completely adapt, and the only way to survive is to adapt. He's reinvented his game. He is taking this team to another level, and yet you could argue, like you guys are saying, Booker's numbers, this and that. Everyone's numbers are in flux because this is a new environment. So Booker's not going to go out and get 50 burger every night because he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to have the numbers because this is a team that is purely about team effort, team winning environment. There is no selfish people on this team at all. And I think Kevin Durant being able to turn himself around and still play at a high level, incredible, man. Definitely worthy of the award.
I'm going to go ahead and spike this comment down. Ish Wainwright should not have won the MVP, but we do like Ish on this channel.
We love it. Did you know he played football?
That's did you guys know that Ish played football?
Baylor, I
do
believe.
the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this. Yeah, that's.
I didn't know.
All right, guys. Well, let's take a look at. I'm going to ask you for what you are looking for the most in the series against the Timberwolves, and then I'm going to ask you for a series prediction to close out. But before we do that, let's transition with a little bit more love for the MVP.
You might be a king or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper.
And I love that I'm in a movie trivia kind of group with Paul from Fanning the Flames and John from Suns Jam. And I was able to actually use Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey as a movie reference to that, which got me extra points because nobody remembers that movie, apparently.
Nice.
Except for me, it feels like. But no, that was a great one. So, oh gosh, who do I want to pick on first? Let's go to Geek because his mic's on. Geek, what are you looking for in this series the most?
Well, I like how you phrased that question, actually. I was going to say a different answer there. But I know it sounds cliche here, but it really is true. Defense. And I guess what I was trying to say earlier was, again, if we could just play 75% or more how we played in that final game of the season, I feel like that is going to be huge going into the playoffs. That's what I want to like. I guess it's multiple answers for me, like the defense, consistency on defense. And then obviously in the playoffs, you got to make shots, shot making consistently, ball movement assists consistently. You know, like the little things in basketball, you know, the simple things in basketball. But I guess to answer your question, it's got to be defense. And I know that, you know, like I know that offense wins you games and everything, but it's like for Anthony Edwards, for example, you got to play some defense. We did a good job of pretty much locking him down, or I guess I could say slowing him down in the regular season. I don't know why. I have like a hunch he's going to like step it up a notch in this series. So defense, 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 baby.
All right, I like it. I know, yeah, I'd say we certainly locked him up in the regular season. He was having some terrible shooting woes for, you know, a Phoenix Suns team that, according to the national talking heads, does not play defense. But we certainly did against him. But Kevin, what are you looking for in this season or series?
Yeah, I kind of agree there. It's going to be the defense. And again, I wrote a preview of this in ASAP Network. You guys check it out. I have put in there that whoever is the quickest in making adjustments will win this series, I believe. And for the Suns, I want them to continue doing what they have been doing against the Timberwolves. Their defense against uh, Anthony Edwards, keeping Gobert away from the paint, and you know all that stuff. That's what I wanted to see. Um, what else? And I have predicted that this series will go to in favor of our Suns in 6 games, just 6 games.
And, well, I'll ask you for your prediction in a moment. No, and 6 wins. All right, or 6 games. Yes, we'll get that. All right, and you penalty for you for announcing that so soon with your prediction for the series. So we'll turn back to Hamo. Not your prediction for who wins or loses the series and in what, but tell me what are you looking forward to most in this series?
First of all, JC, send me that photo, bro. I want to see it. I'm going to refer back to, and once again, I'm sorry if I get your name wrong here, Abraham Alarcon. Most critical thing we need is how we start off the first quarter. That's our key to winning. That's 50% of the battle. We also need to maintain turnovers. We also need to maintain fourth quarter closeouts.
Preach.
Gotta love it when you say that, geek. We're the fucking same person, man. It's unbelievable. It's going to be a tough series, man. It is going to be a tough series. We're not going to deny that, but I'm expecting that our guys will be able. We've had enough experience with this team and enough recent experience with this team to be able to poke at their holes. Geez, that was bad. You know what I mean?
I actually agree with you, though. No, that makes sense.
We know they pull their threads. We know how to unravel them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Geez, I dug myself out of that one, didn't I? All right.
Well, I'll say this, Suns Planeteers, hang tough today. It could be an interesting first game, that's for sure. T-Wolves are going to come out and try and prove, I think, right away that they can hang with the Suns. They've lost by double digits in all 3 games to the Phoenix Suns. And we have, like I mentioned, kind of locked Ant up. What I'll be looking at is something kind of you guys touched on already, but the Suns are top 5 worst in turnovers. The Timberwolves are the top defensive team in the league. I'll be very interested to see how aggressive they go after our ball handlers. And we've seen the lazy cross-court passes from a Kevin Durant. The ball gets stripped on a drive from Bradley Beal and Booker trying to toss
silly turnovers.
And the ball gets batted out. The other thing I'm going to be looking for, though, is, and I think this is inevitably why we can be successful, is the Timberwolves, for as good of a defense as they are, have a little bit more trouble with perimeter offensive teams. Rudy Gobert has improved as a perimeter defender, but still taking him out of the paint, he's far less effective outside the paint than he is in the paint. He's a top defender in the paint. But Karl-Anthony Towns does not like chasing shooters. And so if you have a Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Booker dancing around on the outside, Towns or Gobert is going to have to close out on them. And that's the shooters. Those are the shots to look for today, is who is going to be that late rotation man that is going to probably overcommit and have to jump and dive out, and the ball will either be driven past them for an easier shot, or they won't get to their assignment in time. The shot will go in. So that's what I'll be looking for, is how can we take advantage of having Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert have to guard some of our perimeter shooters. And
Kevin, Cat's not at full health yet, is he?
What's that?
Can I add something?
I guess so, yeah. Kevin. You already predicted your 6 games, so you go ahead. And Suns in 6. Suns in 6.
Suns in 6. But yeah, one thing that I don't want to see is putting Eubanks on Gobert. That's just one thing.
That's
the crazy waving inflatable tube man.
On Eubanks, I'll say this: he's a big body. It'll be interesting to see who's going to get the backup minutes. Are we going to see some KD? Are we going to see some Thad Young? Are we going to see Eubanks? Because the Timberwolves, and Geek, I've heard you talk about this. Naz Reid is a solid offensive backup center. Do we go with more size with the Eubanks to spell Nurk, or do we go with a Durant or Thad Young? That'll be something to look for. I won't necessarily ask you guys for predictions, because we got to make sure the Suns Planeteers can get to their fridge, get the cold beer ready for the game. So I'll turn to Geek. Series predictions. What are we going to see?
Suns in 5, baby. And that might be a little bit recency bias, but I have a friend who I've had on my channel before, Let's Talk Wolves, and he even DM'd me and said Suns in 5. So Suns in 5.
Well, if the Wolves are saying Suns in 5, they're aware. All right, Hamo, your prediction.
Yeah, of course. My heart says Suns in 5. My heart said Suns in 5. We're not going to lose the series. There's no way. But 5-6. But my heart says 5.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really want to do Suns in 4, but that is apparently such a bad luck charm right now. We've got to wash ourselves of the Suns in 4 mentality. So
that was so fun while it lasted, man. But come on, guys, we've got to move past it.
It got old really fast.
When he started doing cameo, it's like, all right.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It got
okay.
old.
Side note, real quick story. Actually, you remember the guy that counted $100 bills to try and distract Giannis? I was counting $1 bills to try and distract Zion, or not Zion. Was it Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans? And I was there with So Says Jay, and I was counting $1 bills to mock him. But it was so funny because the Suns fans in the stands started taking videos of me and complaining that I was like the Scottsdale guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is a mockery. I'm doing a mockery of the whole thing. But hey, maybe it worked too, because I will say this: the guy missed his free throws. I could be as effective as Matt Ishbia getting an extra point in the playoffs. Just saying. I may be wrong, but I doubt it, as the Charles Barkley book title.
I'm more curious as why you had a fistful of ones.
I only had 9, so I had to double count one. But, when you're in Phoenix, it's a cash society. So, Hamill, you said Suns in 5. I'll go Suns in 5.
Suns in 5.
My next closest choice, my next closest likelihood, I think actually would be a Suns sweep. But I think you guys are right. I'm going to agree with the Geek and Sir Hamo that it's going to be Suns in 5. And Kevin said Suns in 6. Either way, we predict the Suns win. So let's transition out of here, guys. Where can we find you? Let's start with Kevin, and where can people see your hot takes, like how you're not a Lakers fan and Suns will win, but only in 6 games?
Yeah, you can find me at I'm Kevin Salute in X, and you can check me out in ASAP as well. I've written like 3 pieces so far, and then check them out. But again, that's where I am. I'm Kevin Salute.
All right, Sir Hamo, not knighted by the king, actually hates royalty, but keeps the royal title. Hamo, where can people find you?
Fun fact, my blood brother is actually a Scottish lord.
Oh gosh, we can all buy those plots. I also have property on the moon.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He bought one of them foot squares, and hey, technically he's a lord. But yeah, you can find me at Sir Hamo. Like Kev was saying, head on over to ASAP Sports Network, ASAP Arizona. You'll see a lot of great writing over there. Kev's popped his writing cherry, which is awesome. He's putting out some really cool articles over there.
Inappropriate, Hamo.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
Sorry, continue.
Just want to thank Geek. It's been a long time coming, man. Been a long time coming. Suns Planet is very, very happy and thankful to have you around. We really are. You're a good friend and one hell of a Suns fan. And yeah. But all in all, guys, you know what you got to do. You got to hit like, subscribe. I said this a few years ago because I ran into some people who didn't understand how YouTube worked. When you hit subscribe, people, it doesn't cost you anything. All it does is it puts whatever you're subscribing to at the top of your homepage. So it's basically just like liking the channel. So you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, you hit the notification bell. You'll just get told when the next episodes are up. That's all it is. There's no money involved. But it helps us bring the content to you. It helps us reach out to people like Geek, do co-streaming and these kinds of things. So, yeah, Hulk, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and, yeah, let's go Suns.
Yep, and subscribing to our YouTube channel or to Suns Geek YouTube channel is actually free, unlike Sir Hamo's OnlyFans. Geek, where can people find you? And yeah, I'll echo what Hamo said. Thanks so much for joining us today, man. This was a blast.
Well, yeah, thank you guys so much, Hamo. Thank you so much for the very kind words. Seriously, it means a lot more than you realize. And thank you guys again for all having me. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully one day I can get you guys on my channel as well, even though we kind of did that today, co-streaming everything. Jake, I got to say, man, you were a great host. I really mean that. As somebody who's done these live shows and videos for a very, very long time, you were a great host. And was it Josh that did all the graphics and the awesome little awards?
He's incredible.
Yep. Yeah, Josh is awesome. I've been following him on Twitter for a while now, so shout out to him. Kevin, nice working with you, my friend. And yeah, I mean, if you guys are new to my channel, if you're watching me for the first time, you know, just Suns Geek on YouTube. You know, I've been doing this content creating stuff for a very long time. I'm also on TikTok now, kind of, sort of. YouTube will always be my number one priority, but you know, you got to expand a little bit. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as well. I always say, just search Suns Geek and you will find me.
And not to cut you off, sorry, Geek or Jake, but you don't understand, guys. Someone will fart in the locker room and Geek's got a video up about it 30 seconds later. He has the most up-to-date content. It is ridiculous. I don't know how you find the time to do this, bro. So, yeah, all social media platforms, get on Suns Geek because it is the most up-to-date and relevant content that you'll find out there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sometimes it's a little silly. Sometimes I'm like, why am I making a video on this? But hey, that's what the people want, man.
Exactly right.
I love that video, the recent one you did of the guy's amazing reaction to Devin Booker wearing the Carmelo Anthony jersey on Team USA and how Carmelo apparently was the greatest Olympian we've ever had. There was a lot going on in that video. So, yes, absolutely. Check out Suns Geek. He is like the master of the short videos for Suns fandom. So you guys can consume some content as you guys get ready today. Thanks again so much for joining us. And obviously, we hope for a win. You can find me at Fallen Founder on Twitter. And let's go win it for this guy. Al, take us home.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay with us as the Suns get set to shine here on their home court.
Here's Perry. Cigar Hurd. Here's the jump shot. Good! It's good!
Al McCoy with you courtside. Pumped up a three.
Shazam! He ties it. Hey, D.A. Al and Tim up here.
Happy birthday!
Right. Yeah.
I know it's a moment. Happy birthday, baby!
Here's Cameron Payne out on top. Durant, three-pointer straight away.
Shazam! I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone in this arena this afternoon, to all of those that are watching and listening on radio and TV. Thank you for allowing me to tell the story of the Suns for 51 great years. that pretty much wraps things up here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.